All right, and welcome to a new segment we're doing here on the Podcasting Dead channel. It's called Three Questions. It's a pretty simple premise. We're going to ask three questions each podcast. Yeah, hopefully thought-provoking questions. And we're going to discuss and really do some deep digging. Joining me today for the first time. Well, no, you were with me about a week or two ago, but first time in a little while.
It's like it's forever.
M-Dub. No, it's Matty Dubs. Matty Dubs. Mr. Matthew.
Call me what you want to.
But Matty Dubs, as he likes to go by on the podcast. Speaking of which, before we get into it, check out our Patreon for extra podcasts. Help support the channel. Every little bit counts.
I'm withdrawn, so I need you guys to support more. Take up my slack.
I'm going to tell you, podcasting equipment is not cheap, so every dollar helps to keep this thing going. So head on over to the Patreon.
I was breaking the bank for me, so I need you guys to pick up my slack.
You know, Matt is a patron, and he needs to join back up. So there's a whole bunch of them out there. But,
am I not on there still? Like I should still be on there.
No, you're not. You have to re-sign up.
What?
Yeah.
For reals?
Yeah.
No way.
You're not on the Patreon. But so there's this. It's really cool. It's a series of cards you can buy called Tabletop Questions or Table Topic Questions, and it's really a lot of workplaces will have them, but they're just meant to provide a question that is a great way to get to know someone or a question that really makes someone think. And so we're going to be using those. So these questions, at least in the beginning, are going to be table topic questions. And Matt, you see, I'm not wrong over there. Your subscription to Patreon fell off. You need to renew it.
Nobody told me. I seriously have done nothing.
Exactly. You've done nothing, which is why you're no longer on the Patreon.
Oh my gosh.
So without further ado, Matt, are you ready to get to the question discussion?
I'm ready.
All right. So this first question it's simple, but it's definitely something to think about. When is the last time that you tried something new?
Tried something new. Oh man. Let's see. Actually, it's a difficult question because I'm always doing the same thing over and over, day in, day out.
Life is very repetitive.
Why life feels so monotonous right now.
Yeah, life is very repetitive. So when's the last time you broke free and you tried something completely different?
You go first while I'm thinking.
That's a difficult one for me as well. Something that I've tried new. And I mean, this could be anything. This could be food. This could be,
when have I ever tried anything new food-wise? That doesn't happen. You know me.
You do have the most boring palate.
Bland palate in the entire known universe.
If
it ain't chicken tendy, it ain't for me.
If it ain't chicken tendies, I ain't about it. So I'm trying. I rode in a big fancy limousine to an event that was not. I mean, it's a lot of business owners, but everybody was just driving their own vehicles there. So I mean, that was the first time I've rode in a limo that fancy. So that I technically is trying something new. I tried a new IPA. I tried a Blue Moon IPA last night. It was okay.
Yeah, if anything, it'd be trying some sort of new cuisine.
You tried something new in the sense of you quit your job, but then
that was more of a.
They took you. You went right back.
More of a power play. God, maybe I should.
There's got to be something new that you've tried. A new sex position, a new video game, a new something.
I'm saving getting laid for super marriage.
That's beyond
regular marriage. Yeah.
Oh, that's when you're super married.
When you got at least 20 years in of regular marriage, then you can hold hands.
You got to think of something. There's something new you've tried, whether it be a new snack, a new beverage, a new way to work, just anything that you've never done before. It counts.
If you count threatening to quit my job, that's something new that I've tried to use to try to get some leverage at work.
All right, and that's the first time you've done that.
And it actually worked in my favor. They actually put in two flexible positions so I can actually get some help, like when I'm not there or someone else is not there. Like I'm not carrying the whole weight of the department by myself.
It's like, it's because you're probably one of the only people in the area qualified to do what you do. So they're like, if he goes, we're royally effed. Yeah. So, well, that counts. So that's something new. So.
Yeah, that was one hell of a power play.
going to bounce around here. I was going to go in order because these are numbered, but I'm going to kind of bounce around. What gets you excited in life?
What gets me excited?
Like, what is it in life that just gets you excited, gets you in a good mood, maybe motivates you, anything?
What, like where I feel the most free and happy, like let's say it's a beautiful day, like the weather is cool, it's not so hot like where I'm sweating balls, it's just a nice day, like a nice light breeze, the sun is shining, just cruising around town on my bicycle, like that's when I feel the most free, just having my headphones in, listening to some music, and just buzzing around some of the more quiet streets of our town here, just on the bicycle.
That's a good answer. So that's your happy place.
Well, it is a happy place of mine. Like I feel just the most at peace when I can do that. Just buzz around, going like mindlessly, no thought, just turning around or turning at corners and just pedaling just where I feel like it. Not a care in the world, and it just feels like just the air and the sunshine feels good. Hey,
it's your happy place, man. That's awesome. Mine's really a tie between three things because I really can't. Well, I mean, I absolutely, actually, I take that back. It's not a tie. Really and truly, as silly and cliche as it sounds, and I don't get to do it often because I've always got something, be it the podcast, radio, my main job, a board that I'm on, something. It's always something taking up my time. So when I have a night where I know that I don't have any real obligations and my daughter and I can just chill out, you know, whether it's we lay in the bed and watch Mulan or we go sit in her room and she plays with action figures and, you know, I'm just there, a part of it. That really does get me most excited in life. But if it's, you know, recreational, it's definitely kind of a tie between going to our favorite beach in the world. You know that's at the top of the list, but it would be like it would honestly be.
You see Doug Dunce was in town today too?
I did. I'm very sad I didn't have time to get by there and take advantage of that. But it probably that gets me most excited in life is when we're leaving the morning of the beach trip each year, or when I'm hiking or like out in the woods.
Yeah, just outdoor stuff. Like if it's beautiful weather, it's just great being out there. Don't do things at your pace. Although your pace is really, really fast.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I'm struggling up the hill, and like Justin's like 400 yards ahead of me.
Look, it's the long legs, man.
Us little short-legged people just don't have no chance.
Man, some of these questions on here are fantastic. Fantastic
they make
questions.
You think.
Yeah, absolutely.
They make you actually like kind of reflect on yourself, like who you are and what you're about.
All right. Man, we might just have to change the name of this podcast from 3 questions
like,
to.
Damn, that makes you think.
Hey, I think I just came up with the name of this segment. It's called "Let Me Ask You." That's a good one. I think I might stick with that because we're only like 8 minutes in and we already have been through 2 questions, so it might be more than 3 questions. But
I think you and I have had plenty of time to kind of figure out who we are as people and what we're about. So some of these aren't too hard to knock out.
No, so we'll just for the time being we'll call this "Let Me Ask You" or
Ask away.
There'll be a name by the time it'll be a new playlist on the channel. But anyways, so it's not going to be 3 questions. It's going to be more. So let's see another really good. Some of these are really good. What is the most sensible thing you've ever heard someone else say?
Sensible thing that I've heard someone tell me. It's always like something like so common. Like why the heck did I not think of that? Man, where would that have been?
It's like something someone has said that when they say it, you're just like, you're exactly right.
Well, just today, like this is not the most sensible thing I've heard, but it is a sensible thing that I was told by our chief physician in radiology. I was in a rush doing something. I didn't realize where I placed the label for the medication that we were using. We mainly use numbing medication in radiology for biopsies. And I didn't realize where I placed the label. It was over the marks for like for how many cc's or milliliters that you administer. He's like, for future reference, Matt, like don't use the label and cover like the markings for how much is administered. But I've been doing this for 10 years. You know what? You got me. You're right. That was kind of a not a smart thing for me to do.
That was a very sensible suggestion. Makes a lot of
Thank
sense.
you. You know, over 3,000 days into the business, and I suppose I could take some critique.
Oh man,
I was in a rush. I didn't realize where I placed it. Normally, I do try to place it where they can see how much they're given.
It is a tough one. What is the most sensible thing I've heard someone say? I mean, I've heard a lot of very sensible things.
Oh, and then anytime we go hiking, if Justin says don't do that, very sensible.
Just simply saying, Matt, don't do that.
No,
I think
dog.
has saved your life at least twice.
At least for sure 2 confirmed times. No, dog, don't do that.
Matt he sees danger and rushes right into it.
I go where my spirit tells me.
We're sitting at the top of a waterfall, and it's like it rounds off, and there's nothing to hold on to, and Matt's just like, I'm gonna go on over to the edge.
I'm gonna go on, look over that edge. Well, you could if it wasn't rounded.
And then when we were down there, remember, you wanted to try to scale the side, and I was like, no,
dog, don't do that.
Don't do that. That does not look, whatever. So then we find another actual path. We get to the top, and you're looking at the path you wanted to take, and you're like, it's probably a good thing we didn't actually.
Justin has sensible solutions for hiking and your HVAC issues.
And something radio.
And something
because I also do radio. The most sensible thing that I've heard someone say. I know it's there.
It's there, but like what? Like trying to search your mind database for that thing.
Well, one thing, I don't know if this is the most sensible thing, but
or
something
sensible. Like it doesn't be the most in this case. Like that's too specific. I mean, 'cause there are lots of like learning moments in our lives where we learn something that's meaningful and has an impact on how we do our day-to-day operations.
Absolutely, that might be the name of the playlist. Learning moments.
Yeah.
But my boss.
The spinoff of the spinoff.
My boss of my sales job, he said, a lot of people say, oh, money can't buy you time. He said, it absolutely can buy you time. I need to get home and cut the grass. I pay someone to come cut my grass. So instead of being outside cutting my grass, he's like, I'm inside with my kid, and so I did essentially just buy myself some time. I got things I need to do around the house. I pay. And he wasn't saying it in like a bougie way. He's saying you can pay money and gain time from the money that you pay. And it's sensible. It makes sense. You know what I mean? If we complain, man, I just don't have enough time. I work my jobs and then I get home and then I got to do this around the house. Got to do this. You can pay someone and get your time back. If
you got the capital, yeah.
So that I felt that was pretty sensible. Let's see. All right, here's a good one. What do you wish you spent more time doing 5 years ago?
5 years ago, that would have been 2016. I actually felt like that's like where I was doing more of what I wanted to. This is when I was already maybe 4 years into doing ultrasound. I'm like, you know what? I'm doing the same stuff over and over and over again. Like I want to take a step back and do some more schooling because I feel like I have. I'm still young. I'm still single. I can take a step back and do learn more things and do more with my skills and abilities, and I did. I went back home for 2 years and did some more schooling.
How much? So what year did you start dating your wife? Was that 2017 or 2018?
It was towards the end of 2017. We became FBO.
FBO?
Facebook official.
So the end of 2017.
When it's FBO, shit's legit.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I know you and
Watch
Caitlin
the language.
Oh, I'm sorry. Schmitty's legit.
You've been doing good, but just watch the language.
I've had 2 lunch beers.
No, you've had quite a few. You've had quite a few more than a few. I mean, I'm on number 2.
I had 2, but then I had 2.
I have number 3 here on standby.
I had 2.
Oh, so you had 2 squared?
Yes, and a square too.
So 5 years ago, that's when you actually started spending time doing what you.
Yeah, because that's when I was back home, getting to spend time with family, friends, and doing more schooling. Like getting actually develop myself more in a way that like I feel like I'm just not doing the same thing over and over and over and over.
So you said 5 years ago would have been around 2016-ish.
About, yeah.
Yeah, probably for me it'd be focusing more on sales. Like I did sales and I was fairly successful, but it was I never took it seriously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like if I would have started then with the drive that I have now, which I mean to my credit, my main job now that's the only thing I do, whereas back then I was doing sales on top of a mountain of other responsibilities. You know, at the station it included production, it included doing morning shows, afternoon shows. You know, it just was a long list of things. I have music scheduling and, you know, managing and just so many things. So but I mean, if I could go back in time, I would have definitely been like, delegate your responsibilities a little bit more and focus hardcore on the sales, just because the money was decent then, but it would have been way more decent if I actually had set aside the time to put that I need. Cause we had like 4 other sales reps. So I wasn't, you know, I was like, I do mine. I make good money and I make the company money. It's what else do I need to do? I'm going home on time today. It's like I should have spent a little more time focused. So I feel like philosophically that defeats the point of what these are, though, of trying to, like, you know, money doesn't buy, you know, trying to get to the root of that. But I mean, realistically, it's something that would have.
Yeah, technically good answers.
I mean, it's definitely, you know, here's a good one. This is pretty thought-provoking. You ready?
I'm ready.
Do you consider crying to be a sign of strength or weakness?
I would say I would lean to more strength. Like there's times where people are crying, just being little bitch babies about little glitch babies about things. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Yeah, if anyone's a fan. I do know people that do whine and moan and complain all the time, but like people that are truly just lost or they just having just a hard time. Like it seems sensible to just have like this kind of emotional cathartic experience.
I think it depends on what you're crying about.
Yeah, how much pain are you in, whether it be physically or just all the life stresses you're having to endure.
I feel like that's a loaded question.
Yeah, sometimes crying out seems like all that like you can do as a means of relief or comfort.
Well, I mean, like if you're crying because you didn't get your way, then I consider that a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
But if you're crying because you just overloaded and overwhelmed with life or whatever, you know, has truly broken you, then I think it takes a strong. I mean, I say that as someone who. Like I cannot, and my girlfriend, I don't say this, I'm not trying to sound like a tough guy because I'm not, but I cannot cry around people. I cannot.
I've seen Justin cry.
When? Give me the specific situation. When?
I've seen you cry.
Because you are 130% absolutely full of and you know it.
I am. I've never seen
because
Justin
I
cry.
wish I say that so passionately because I wish I could. I go to funerals and it's hard to cry and I know I need to, but I cannot. So I do think it takes some strength to just be able to let it out and get that off your chest. However, I think if you just cry when things don't go your way or you cry because
I always cry at weddings. They make me so emotional.
Well, I don't think that's weak though. You know, I think it really just depends on what it is you're crying about as to whether it is a sign of strength or weakness.
Context. As long as you're not crying because you didn't get your way, that's pretty much the disqualifier for weakness.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think it's a big deal.
A big deal. All right, we got time for just a few more here. These are some really good questions. Let's see. Let's try to find another really, really good one. I feel like this is a good question, but I feel like for you, it's pretty. I could answer it for you, but. If you had to teach something, what would you teach?
What do you think I would teach?
What you do for a living, because you're passionate about it.
Yeah, like when it comes to the health sciences, I love that stuff.
Like I feel like if you had to teach something, you'd be teaching like radiology or what is it specifically you do? What is it?
Technically, it would be like general. Just a generalized form of ultrasound would be
ultrasound. Okay,
yeah,
I feel like you would
catch-all.
I feel like that's what you would teach because you're passionate about it.
But the biggest thing people need to understand is like what we refer to as cross-sectional anatomy. It's like, so if I were to cut you in half, what would I be looking at specifically if I cut you like right below your nipples? What part of your body would I be seeing?
I mean, are you asking me?
Yeah, if I cut right below your nipples, what would I see?
Blood and bone. I mean, am I cut in half in this scenario?
Yeah, you're cut in half.
Are you saying if you split me open
Yeah,
there?
if I split you open, like if I just chopped you directly in half, short to you, like the blade is perpendicular to your the long part of your body, what would I see at that level? So a lot of it's just like more like spatial anatomy, and then kind of like just some physiology and pathologic processes we see by ultrasound. Like, I love explaining that stuff.
Are you trying to say that you're going to axe murder me?
Well, I mean, if we want to see your guts, we certainly can. Was
that the answer, guts?
I mean, technically, if we're being layman's terms, yeah. But yeah, I do love the health, like doing the health sciences, and then I love anatomy.
Because I was thinking guts there for a second, but I thought, nah, that's too simple of an answer. It's got to be like a specific
if you get naked,
organ.
I could show you all sorts of crazy parts on you.
Look, you always, the excuse is always to get me naked.
It's just, this is for learning.
If you get naked, you can take that beer bong better. If you get naked, the weed won't make you cough so much.
Yeah, pants come off, smooth weed.
I'm starting to think getting naked is your solution to everything.
I got my first wife.
If I was teaching, it would probably be English. Well, it would not be English. I don't know why I said English. I guess because you associate like literature with English, but mine would definitely be like some kind of literature.
I loved when I was in British literature in high school. That was a fun
kind
course.
of literature, man. Like just finding stories for the class to read that I think that they would actually enjoy, and then discussion and thought provoking.
Very engaging. Yeah, it's very engaging for kids.
That would certainly be with the subject that I would teach. All right, let's see if we can get another good
That
one
I think
here.
was my all-time favorite job, though. When I was a tutor for anatomy physiology.
Wait, say that again.
When I was in college, I was my first job was as technically, I guess first serious job was I tutored the anatomy and physiology courses for the college.
Oh, very nice. Do you enjoy that?
Oh, it was a blast.
You know what else is a blast? Sipping your drink. Have you finished it?
Oh, this is empty. This is bent empty.
Oh, well then we're going to have to pause so I can get you another one.
I got to pee too.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break, and listener, you won't even know it. We're going to
snap our fingers.
Yeah,
3, 2, 1.
And we're back.
Hoo-wee.
So Matt got him a brew. I got me another brew, and we're going to continue to
Bros and Brews.
Ask
Spin-off of the spin-off.
Bros and Brews. I like it. Bros and Brews.
We're chock full of good ideas.
Bros and Brews. That sounds
pending.
It sounds like a brewery that you would open up next to
Bros
like
and
a
Brews,
frat
yeah,
house.
To a gay bar.
I'm having some brews with my bros. So, all right, here we go. Getting back into these very thought-provoking questions.
I know who I am. I know what I like. I like White Claws. I like hiking. I like those Totino's pizzas. I know me.
They're delicious.
They're delicious.
Pop them into the oven for a little while.
And if you say otherwise, I respect your opinion, but I disagree.
Respectfully. All right, so here's a good question. It's simple but effective. Have you done anything recently? Wait a minute. Hold on. Make sure I ask this right. Oh, no, what? Let's scrap that one. We'll get to that one another time.
I haven't done nothing recently. I've been at work the whole time.
All right. What is the difference between living and existing? That's deep right there. That requires some more music under us.
Yeah, I need something to be provoking, thought provoking, if you will.
So what is the difference between living and existing?
So existing is what I'm doing right now. where I'm pretty much doing the same motions over and over and over, day after day after day, where just it's all one continual blur. I can't tell one day from the other because it's all the same nonsense. Living, I'm going out trying new things or doing things I wouldn't normally do, or just getting out and just doing things at my convenience. Like I'm not on a, I guess you could say, like on a timer or on a schedule, like where I'm programmed to do certain motions for an X amount of time. Like I can do things unrestricted. So life to me is unrestricted.
That's a good way. So to you, living is being unrestricted.
Yes, where existing is someone winds you up and puts you on a timer.
But see, where do you get the break from that, though?
I don't know.
I mean, like, the thing is, I think, like...
The system is designed to not allow for to not be on a timer.
I feel like depression, as in clinical depression, where you have chemical imbalances in your brain that affect your mood and your well-being, that's something that I don't think you can really fix that with a mindset. I think it takes a lot of different things, like therapy and some medication, because that's a chemical imbalance. It's something in your body that's not working well together. But I sometimes think that, like, situational depression, it's a mindset thing, because let's face it, all right, you can't do the things you want to do without money. It don't work. You can't.
The current social construct does not allow for you to exist without, well, even just existing, like not living, but just being a part of this pay to play system.
Yeah.
You have to have some sort of skin in the game and some sort of income to sustain.
And I don't mean that as in like an ultra capitalist, like crazy, like money hungry thing. But I'm saying, well, then it's just survival of the fittest. I mean, the thing is, if you have to make money to do the things that you want, and the thought that money should be provided for you so that you can go do the things you want is unrealistic. I mean, you have to make money to do the things that you want. Now, how much money you make and what you do is, I know that has an effect on what you can do is based on your job.
Or how much you're exploited, I guess.
But I think sometimes a mindset can help. And I say that because, I mean, my stuff gets monotonous too. I mean, it's the same thing every day. You meet new people and every situation's different. But I mean, I tell myself like I'm working towards something. And at least for me, not everybody looks at things the same. But for me, it helps me to get through the day. And I mean, there are days where I come home and I'm just dead inside. And it's not like, I mean, I love my jobs. Both of them are wonderful jobs. But I mean, it's just, that's the human condition. Some days you're just ready to get out the office and get home and for like 4 hours, forget that you work. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's a catch-22 because it's like to live the life where you get to just go out and have adventures every day. Like you can't. Or unless you're living on someone else's dime, because how else are you going to pay for the flight to get to this place that you really want to go to? Or how, and I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing, but I mean, it is. So I just try to tell myself I'm working towards something. Like, I mean, I would love to spend every day hiking and at ocean lakes and doing stuff with my friends, but I try to tell myself, like,
sleeping in, staying up late.
I think of like the beach trip, and I'm working towards being able to have a ball on the beach trip. I want to go hiking, so I work real hard all week, and so I don't know. It's I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying that's just how I choose to get, like, the mindset I choose to go into the work week with.
To keep you propagating,
to keep me moving and motivated. But I feel pretty much exactly like you. I mean, I'm very my thought of living and existing. I feel like living is. I think living is it's another loaded question because it really just depends on what makes you happy. I think living is being happy. Like living is living like you are happy with what you're doing, whether that's exploring or spending time with your kids or spending time with friends, but you're doing the things that bring you joy.
That means something to you.
You're getting the best out of life, whereas existing is just you get up with no purpose, you have no ambition, no dreams, no goals, nothing to look forward to, day in, day out. You just do the same old bull. And
I think many people do want to exist like in a society and have meaningful contributions, but like not in the way that that has been constructed like by corporations.
Yeah, well, and I've definitely had things that I've tried to do to have some meaningful existence. You know what I mean? Like just not all of them have to, because I'm gonna tell you, I can't stand when people do like charity work or something and then they go on Facebook and I don't mean to brag, but I mean, like, doing things for other people and making other people happy, it's just a great, you get something out of it too. It's a great feeling. But I mean, just doing something to bring joy to this otherwise monotonous, depressing earth.
Humans are social creatures. We want to be involved. We want to be interactive. But if my day is just punching in data into a database, I mean, like, man, that just seems does not seem like what we were built for.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and it's about finding something to do that you enjoy, too. I mean, like, you know, and for your situation, it could be you enjoy what you do. You just don't enjoy where you do it. You know what I mean? Like, maybe somewhere out there's a place where you can do what you do, but you can actually do it in a place where you're happy and you enjoy what you do. Like my job's like, okay, so you like rolling this log. You like rolling this log across the hill, but, okay, like, that's fine and all, but, like, for us as a corporation, we're going to kick in the balls about every 30 minutes. It doesn't really mean anything. We're just going to do it. Just going to make sure they're still there. Yeah. Here is a really, really good one. If you didn't know how old you were, how old would you be? How old would you think you were if you didn't actually know how old you were? Man, even time is just a goofy concept to try to explain. It is interesting when you get into the thought that time really does not exist. Like, it is completely a man-made concept. Like, time is not an actual thing that exists. Things decay, but that's not time. Things just grow weak. You know, I mean, it's entropy is ever increasing. It's a very interesting thought. It's relative, and entropy is always increasing. Time is just how we measure our existence. If we time travel 1 second per second forward. I'm lost. I am too. I fell off about 4 seconds ago. we must go back in time and save now I'm him. Lost in time. We must go back in time and save Justin. But if you didn't know, how old do you feel is basically what this question is asking. How old do you feel? I would say mid-40s. Really? Man, for me, I'd say like early 20s. If I'm just going off the way I feel. Well, mine is more like, would be like more like, oh, damn, like where you do the same thing over and over. Like, man, like I feel like I'm at the half point of my life already. Well, let me ask you something, because you've said that a lot the last few weeks, doing the same thing over and over again. So what change would bring you joy? So right now you're tired of going to work and doing the same things over and over again. So what is a solution for that? Like, what is there a different job career? Like, you know, what do you want? Just imagine doing the work of 3 people for the price of 1. That's what I feel like I'm doing. Like, I feel like I'm carrying on so much of a load by the time I walk in the door, I'm hearing people whine, complain, and just the phone's ringing off the hook, and there's just like 4 things going on at one time. Like, you can't put your focus into one task at once. Like, you have to be juggling other tasks at once. So if I could distribute the workload and be able to, like, come to work on time and start comfortably and end comfortably, like, that's what you need. Like, you don't need to be trying to juggle 4 tasks from the moment you leave till 2 hours after you're supposed to leave. Well, see, that doesn't sound like you're tired of the things being the same thing over and over again. That sounds like you're overworked. But like, it's the same thing of being overworked day in, day out. So if you had it's burnout. Yeah. If you had less tasks, or the tasks you feel you should have to do. Work-life is balanced on there, and it's just the point like where I just feel like it becomes meaning. Like, there's no meaning to, like, I understand you. So what you're saying is, because my question was going to be, so if you had less things to do, but you still did the same thing every day, how would it be different? But what you're saying is, if you didn't have to do the work for so many different people, then when you got off, you'd have more time off to go do the things that you want. To do more leisure. So work would be the same thing over and over again, but there would be more time allowed. I would have time to veg out, like browse Reddit for a minute or look at YouTube. Just like I have like little periodic breaks where I can let my mind just kind of wander. Well, when you threaten to leave, they're working on fixing that, right? Yes. When I threaten, it's like, hey, listen, like I am so fed up working so hard, like something's got to change or I got to go. That's like when I had you using the old mic and you had to sit a million miles away.
Listen,
you were like, "Look, this isn't working.
This is not working for me."
Either I get that nice leather chair and a mic,
and a good mic where I can hear myself. I sound lovely, by the way. Thank you.
You do. You sound beautiful. That mic really brings out the mat in your voice.
Yeah, it brings out the tone that I want people to understand about my voice.
That's it does. It sounds really good. But so, yeah, for you, mid-40s, for me, early 20s. I feel like that's where I'd fit somewhere. All right, here's a deep one. You ready to go deep?
Oh,
that's only the second time Matt's heard that today.
Penetration, yes. Saving it for super marriage.
When you're 80 years old, what will matter to you the most at the age of 80?
How much money did I make my corporation?
Why do I feel like that's not what's going to be most important to you?
What would mean most to me at 80? I mean, your probably typical cliche answer. Did I leave a fulfilling life? Something that where I feel like I, got as much out of life that life got out of me. Did I spend time with friends? Did I spend time with family? Did I do things that meant something to the people around me?
I can concur. Mine's very similar. I mean, it really, at the end of the day, at 80, did I lead a life that will be missed? You know what I mean? Like, did I make people around me feel good about themselves? Did I make people around me? Because my favorite quote of all time is a Maya Angelou quote, and it's very simple, but it just says, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people never forget how you made them feel. So, I mean, I'm not an angel. Sometimes I do rip on people, but like, I would like to think that when I'm gone, at least people can think back and I at least made them feel good about themselves, at least for something. I mean, whether, whatever it was, I just hope when they were around me, they felt happy, it's, so I think when I'm 80, what matters to most to me is, like you said, as cliche as it is, did I live a fulfilled life? Which then again, no one will ever live a fulfilled life, but you could think like another good quote is
technically adequate life.
Another good quote is that, one day your life's going to flash before your eyes. Make sure it's worth rewatching. So it's like, when I'm 80 and I'm thinking seriously about death, if I had to rewatch my life, would it be worth rewatching? And at the moment, I can say absolutely. I've had a lot of really good moments with certain, lots. I'm not saying I've fulfilled. I still have a lot of growing as a human being to do, but I definitely feel like I've had a good life thus far. I mean, it's had its shortcomings as everyone else does, but overall, I've been happy with it.
And then if I ever actually beat RuneScape. Did I actually?
Do you beat that game though? Like I was gonna say, that doesn't sound like. I don't think that's the kind of game that you beat.
It's all the same, Justin. It's all the same. Life and mobile games are the same. There's just no end to our suffering.
Oh man! And some of these we're gonna get like in the next one that we do, we're gonna get really philosophical. This has been more like personal.
Oh, get me like feels. I got half a can here. I need to get some feels.
You need more of a can?
No, I got half. I got 2/3 a can. But I need to get some feels going.
All right, let's see. Oh man, so I apologize for the dead air. I'm just trying. It's so.
While you're looking, do you ever do cold showers? Like that is like the best. Like have you ever taken an ice cold shower, jumped into an ice cold pool?
Oh, yeah. When I went to St. Mary's Wilderness and jumped into that little water hole, man.
That was cold.
I swear that I've never felt cold like that. Like I went underwater and I came up and I couldn't make breathe. A sound. Like it constricted my diaphragm. Help. It's pretty much what I did. I came out the water and like meant to say like, woo, or something. It was like, it was
like a ghost banging you.
Ooh. Here's a good one. Have you ever regretted something you did not say? I feel like every human being could say yes to that. I mean, I can't imagine somebody living a life where there was not at least one moment where they had something they wanted to say, but they chose not to.
If anything, and I mean, think about now, it'd be silly, like by today's standards, but like definitely, like I was super shy in high school and in junior high. Like I just could not bring I I had, I think, one girlfriend in high school.
It's so funny that how opposite we are and were in life. You know what I mean? Like opposite attract as far as like whether that be, you know, your girlfriend, your wife, or just the friends you hang out with, you know. I mean, you and I have a lot of similarities, but there are also a lot of differences there too.
Delineations between you and I, which is fine. But like I think the biggest, I know like high school me like, man, like why were you so shy like back then? Just to say, hey, like, hey, I think you're cute. I want to hang out with you. I want to go out, like see a movie or something. Like just now I was so shy and just overthunk so many things. Just shut it down, and what could have been never happened.
Overthinking it's a big deal, man. It can really hold you back in life. Just thinking too much. I mean, but I read somewhere, and I don't know how true this is, but you know, I've read that overthinking is a sign of intelligence. I mean, it's just that your brain analyzes every single thing in life. You know what I mean? Like for instance,
I promise you I'm a dumbass. So
no, I know I'm a dumbass. I know I'm a dumbass. But like I read one time where it said if you have like so say someone, you know, everyone thinks that being witty means you're smart, but not always. Like sometimes when someone, you know, you ask or something happens and it takes someone a little longer to respond, it actually can be a sign of intelligence because it means they are actually taking the time to think through you know.
My wife hates that I don't respond immediately. Like, listen, I need some time to digest what I've been given. Like, I need time to process a response. Otherwise, I do not want to speak with emotion versus like having a time to actually figure out like what's going on, like looking at it from other sides of things.
Is this in reference to the time where she asked you, would you be into doing some pegging?
Ooh.
Listen, I need time to digest this.
Like you have piqued my curiosity, but I need time to figure it out. Like, can my whole handle it?
Don't expect an answer immediately.
It's a whole lot, baby, to take in. Literally.
That's a whole lot in the hole.
No, I like to have time to like. I don't like to answer things immediately if there's a chance like that. Extreme emotion can be involved, and I say something I don't mean to say.
So would your thing, would yours have been just like not taking a chance to ask a girl out, or
pretty much, yeah, just things like opportunities that I most likely missed out on. Going back to that living, like did I have a chance to do something like just off the cuff and experience something unrestrained?
Man, I don't know. I mean, I've got a lot of them. I mean, I don't want to do the cliche like somebody died and I wish I would have told them how much they meant to me, but I mean, I've had several of those in my life. Something I wish I would have said, but I didn't. I mean, there's been times where I've let people take advantage of me and completely knew what was going on.
Sometimes being an asshole would have been the better situation.
Yeah,
at least for yourself.
Yeah, it's like I've known people were taking advantage of being nice, and you see it happening.
Yeah,
you just let it happen, and you know in hindsight, I just should have said no.
That one of my new gals today. She was saying that. Her sister.
By new gals, Matt means one of his new
employees.
Wives, because Matt's a pimp like that.
Yeah, I have a harem at my over on Greenway. But no, one of the new girls that works underneath me, she's like 22, 23, so she don't know, like she's a smart kid, but definitely naive as hell in the adult realm.
Just how old did you say she was again?
22. She's born in 99.
She's still young.
Baby, like she's a smart kid. She's good at the technical stuff, but like she knows, like has no work or life experience, which, you know, me, like I'm like, man, I would hate to see a kid get taken advantage of like you know I have been.
Young and naive, sure, I'll be happy to work those 10 hours of overtime at no pay.
Yeah. But she was saying like she has a slightly older sister that's been doing like that said like they make her. Like, she can only work, like, 39.5 hours a week anymore. Like, they freak out. So she's been doing, like, work off the clock. Like, listen, if I find out that you, my subordinate, have been working off the clock, there's a few things that'll piss me off about you guys. But if you work off the clock, that will piss me off.
Now, do you mean work off the clock without getting paid?
Yes. Like, I want, if you're working, you're getting, like, Centera is compensating you for your time served. No ifs, ands, or buts. Even if they have to pay a little overtime, fuck them. Like, if you're working, you're getting paid.
Well, I had a moment.
I will not let them be exploited like that.
Well, I had a hindsight moment. That's exactly what you're talking about. But I remember, like, so for when I was in radio full time, I was very passionate about radio. Like, I loved it. It wasn't a job. It was a fun hobby I got paid for. So
that's how they try to sell you.
I didn't mind putting free time into the weekends because I was having a good time. I would have paid to have done some of the stuff we got to do, being around celebrities, interviewing celebrities, getting catered food and the back of a what am I trying to say? And in the back, basically like backstage eating catering with the band members,
hanging out with these top name individuals, getting all this.
Or like, like racing. I've really never cared much for racing, but we covered the Martinsville Speedway races. Well, we didn't broadcast them, but we did like pre-race coverage. We interviewed the drivers, promoted it and all that. So like I was going to those events on the weekends for free and doing it, but it was because I was having a ball. Like I was rubbing shoulders with some top journalists and sportscasters, and I had a guy that worked with us who, I wanted to go with us. And
a nice benefit to say, but it's not, you're not getting paid for your work.
Right. Well, and it was like, again, hindsight's 2020. This was probably 5 years ago, but it was like, I got a little irritated with him because and again, this is me admitting I was wrong. So, I mean, I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong, but it's like, myself and another coworker just enjoyed it because, man, we were backstage. We were seeing like, you like people are at home watching this on TV and you're standing behind the cameraman who's filming what they're watching. And it's just if you're into media and radio and all of that, it's a really exciting experience. But then you have to remember that not everybody that's working with or for you is as into it as you are. So,
some it might just be a job, a glorified welfare with extra steps.
And it's like, I expected them, I didn't make it mandatory, but I was just kind of shocked when they were like, I don't want to go. And it's like, why would you not want this opportunity? It's like, well, I could work my other job and make money. And at the time, it was a mistake on my part for thinking that someone should be as passionate about this as I am. Or, and it's like, so in hindsight, oh, absolutely no. I totally nailed 2021, Justin. 100% agrees.
If you pay me if I'm working.
Oh, yeah. If I'm doing something for your business, I need to be getting paid for it. And that's just that. Because whatever I'm doing is helping to grow your business or to at least keep it making you money. You need to pay me for my time. And that's a 2015 versus 2021 Justin difference, living and learning. And, so 100% that guy was right. I certainly now don't think it's fair to give up your time to do things, for your company and not be paid for your time. That's because when you think about the idea of working for someone, no. You don't work for them. They pay you for your time.
Pay for your services and your time.
So, the fact that it's like, no, you should want to do this on the weekend for free for us. No, you pay me for my time and that's my time. And if you want my time,
arrangement.
You need to pay for it. It's just that. Yeah, no, 100% you should be paid for your skills.
See, my goal right now is sheltering these young new folks that I have on. Make sure they're not getting taken advantage of.
Let's see. Oh, man. All right. I love these. And we're almost to the end of this. But, man, every time I think I'm done, I find another question I just got to ask. And, again, if you didn't catch it at the beginning, this is called Table Topics. You can actually go on, like, Amazon and order, like, I'm going to order these so I can have the cards and not have to read them off of my phone here. But, I mean, it's some
That's a
really
work phone,
good
too, mind you. He should be getting paid for his work phone browsing.
But this isn't benefiting the company at all.
Well, it's making us think. It's by provoking you. It's you might be a better salesman come Monday.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Ask your boss that. I should be compensated for drinking Blue Moons and provoking my brain. It's making me a better salesman.
So I've got two more questions we'll wrap this thing up with. Two more questions. All right. Number one. Can there be happiness without sadness? Pleasure without pain?
Nope,
peace without war?
Nope. If you don't have something to contrast or compare, it's just that's not going to happen.
I mean, peace without war would just be existing, because if you didn't know war, you wouldn't know you were in peace times. You would just be, it would be your existence. And I don't mean it would be existing as in the way Matt referred to it earlier. It's like a boring, like
monotonous.
No, I'm just saying, like, if you never had war and nobody fought, it wouldn't really be peace. It would just be life, because you don't have any, like you said, there's no contrast. It's not peace if there's never been war. You can't say, well, we're at peace when we've, so
you have nothing to compare to. There's no standard or bar that you're set against.
Sometimes I do roll my eyes at things people, because a lot of times what people don't realize is, and I mean, I'm guilty of this too. We're all guilty of this, I feel. But a lot of times when someone vents to you, it's not that they want you to solve the problem for them. They just want someone to listen.
Yeah, put it out there and helps them figure it out, like themselves as they're putting it out there to the universe, whoever will listen.
And here's some advice, because I've had this done to me before and it sucks. Here's some advice. If a friend or someone is ever venting to you and they're clearly distraught, this is upsetting them, the last thing you do is turn it back around on yourself. And I think as humans, we try to be like, oh, I know how you feel. Last summer, blah, blah, blah. Stop right there. They're coming to you because they are distraught, and it needs to be about them. You're not helping them by, but as humans, we do try to relate and connect. It's just part of our evolution. We're social creatures. We want to connect with people, and telling someone that you share a similar experience, it's this subconscious action that makes us feel like we're going to get closer to someone. But in reality, if someone is upset,
if they're clearly probing you for insight, like if you've been there and they're heading that way, maybe they want to say, like, listen, like, I'm going on this path. Maybe you can give me
they say, what did you do to get out of it? Or what helped you
if they're looking for insight for where they're headed to where you've been.
But if someone just is coming to you and they're venting, they don't need you to solve their problem. They just need you to listen. Like, that's really what most people want, is just for you to listen. I mean,
say, damn, bro, that's nuts.
Or, you can talk about it, but it's not like they're expecting you to be their problem solver. They're not venting to you thinking that you are going to solve their problem. But with that said, all that long rant, I do have a friend she was going through some stuff, and I told her, as cliche as it sounds, I was like, this does suck, but like, you could not have a rainbow if there wasn't first rain. And I mean, that's true for a lot of things in life. Like, you really can't appreciate when things are really good if they've never been bad. At least that's the way I think.
Yeah, compare and contrast. That's how we kind of set the bar for things.
That's why, like, you see, like, trust fund kids and people that have been loaded their whole life and have never struggled. Yeah. They don't look happy or, like, aware that they are, they know they're living better than most people, but not in the appreciative way that someone who went from, like, rags to riches would live it.
One of my favorite, like, memes I've seen recently is saying, like let a boomer, like, or like someone like 30 years ago, like, try to get a job on the advice they're giving you today and see how quickly they break down. You just go in there, look them in the eye, give them a firm handshake and say, like, I'm your man, and then you get a job. Like, let them try to apply to jobs today and see how long they last before having a mental breakdown.
I'm your man.
I'm your man. Get the fuck out of my business.
All right, and the final question to wrap this up. I've really enjoyed this podcast.
This is fun.
I like the thought-provoking questions.
So do I.
All right, so this one is key here. Why do we think of others the most when they're gone? I think it's because we're never going to get it again.
Yeah.
Like, we take people for granted every single day, man. You've got friends out there that would probably actually take a bullet for you, or would stop what they were doing, hell, put their job at risk to come help you if you were in dire enough situation.
If you say, hey, Matt, I am not doing good tonight, you bet I would be there. And it's like, or would I? Well, I don't know. I mean, after last weekend, I'm not 100% sure. Now, I had a good defense that we were seriously in Halifax like till 11 o'clock at night. I'll give you a break on that one. But I mean, no, you got people in your life that would just stop what they were doing and rush over to help you, but you take them for granted every day.
not you. I'm not saying you, Matt, do, but we as humans,
everyone's guilty of
we take them for granted. And, it's like, but then when they're gone, there's never a chance to say. I feel like one reason why we think of people most when they're gone is just things left unsaid.
Yeah.
Like, it's very rare that someone dies and you get to stop and tell them exactly how you feel. And they hear that and take that with them as they go. Most of the time somebody dies and it's just, it's so much left up in the air. What do you think? Why do we think of people most when they're gone? Do you think it goes back to we always want what we can't have?
Oh, I get what I want.
I get what I want when I want.
I get what I want when I want. I'm Matt in Dubs. And you're going to get in the tub.
This is how Matt got his wife into the bedroom.
I get what I want, and you're going to take off them pants.
But why do you think it is that we think of people most when they're gone?
Well, I guess the fact that they're never going to be there again, it just gives you a chance to think all these things about them that you never got to do. So it's like, well, you get more time to reflect on them, then you can then move on to the next thing in your life.
I don't deal with death very well at all.
I don't either. I've had very few family or friend deaths in my life.
You haven't had many? Mm-mm. Oh, you're lucky.
I know.
I mean, you would think as many as I've had between family and friends that I mean, dude, and that's life. Plenty of other people can too. But I mean, I can name to you. I told my little brother, man, he's 22, and I'm like, I tell you right now how life works, man. You're 22. Go into a bar, have drinks, have a good time, but take a look around. In 10 years, I guarantee you at least a fifth of those people will be dead. Whether it be some kind of disease, car wreck, murder,
accidental, or just
suicide.
Yeah.
A fifth of, and I say that, keep in mind that we live in a small town. So in our bars,
that's probably being a little underselling it too.
Oh yeah, probably like a third.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think about it, and it's like, there's people that in life that you don't even know super well, but so for instance, there was this bartender that passed away recently, and I remember when she used to work at a local bar, she was like my favorite bartender. I'd go in there all the time, and she knew what I wanted, and she was always nice, and just thought the world of her. Looked forward to going in there
with the Michelob Ultra.
Yep. Well,
they call it the
back then it was probably Bud Light.
Bud Light.
Back when my or Natty Light. Back when my inner country boy was way out there.
Country boy.
Country bumpkin boy. But I mean, she's passed away. And then I think of while she was in that bar, there's also another girl that used to always frequent the bars that everyone loved. And she's now dead too. She died in the car crash. So it's, I feel like it's hard for us to cope with the fact that a human can be here and then just be gone.
Yeah, the next day gone.
I tell you, one of the best explanations I've seen though for explaining death to a kid. I don't know that I don't know that if this is a good way to explain. So I don't know if you watched it, Matt, but it was a show. It was called Watchmen. So it was based off the Watchmen comic series. It was on HBO. Do you remember when that came out like a year or two ago?
Yes. Yep.
So they were explaining, this guy was explaining death to his child. And he said, remember how before you were born, you didn't exist?
Yeah. Do you remember before you were born?
That's basically what, it's the same thing as that, like how you didn't exist before you were born.
Yeah, what happened before you were born?
And of course he said it better on the show, but I mean, it's just hard as a human to see somebody up and moving and live and lively and jovial, and the next thing they know, they don't exist anymore. So I think that's why we,
It's weird just thinking we're just a bunch of atoms that have somehow, a collection of atoms that somehow have sentience. What the hell, man?
Mm-hmm. Oh, have you ever seen Pete Holmes' stand-up on let me see, do I have my... They stand up on that weird, which is funny that I'm bleeping that out when you've thrown out F-bombs. But
I've been saying flock.
He talks about how we are made of molecules. Like this chair is made of molecules.
Bags of water and electricity.
We're on a space rock because people don't realize. I think they think see, that's the problem with like time travel. Like if you traveled in time, back in time, like you wouldn't just need to know the time, you need to know coordinates in space because number one, like I saw a model a while back. Like we're going around the sun as the sun is hurtling through space.
Revolving around a giant black hole in the center of our universe, and that universe is drifting through space as well.
Like we are actually not just floating around the sun. We're not stationary in one spot. We are traveling, what is it, hundreds of thousands of miles an hour through the depths of space. And it's expanding. Nothingness is getting bigger. How does that make sense?
We have like a sphere of influence, but then we're also, that sphere of influence is also moving too on top of that. So
I'm not a smart man, but do you ever have those moments where somebody asks a question and just you figure it out and you're like, good job, me?
Yeah.
I had one of those because we were talking about that and they were like, well, if that's true, then how do they leave the Earth and go to the moon or go to the space station and come back to Earth? Wouldn't Earth be gone? I was like, no, because you're still stuck. We're still orbiting the Earth.
Yeah, you're still in a sphere of influence, what they call it.
The moon orbits the Earth, so it stays with the Earth as it travels. The moon travels with the Earth. The space station is still in Earth's orbit. If we were to which is crazy to think. I mean, I'm sure you'd have to go a long, long ways, but imagine if you did go past Earth's orbit. All of a sudden, you would see your galaxy just go, phew! Yeah. Well, I am not going to make it to my wife's parents tonight for that spaghetti supper.
Shit.
Mama Bird's going to be real mad. But I tell you what, I hope that you enjoyed this podcast as much as I did. I thought that this was a really fun podcast. I really
makes you think.
Well, it's so easy to do these. Well, not easy for me because I'm not a funny guy, but a lot of times we just try to be funny.
Yeah, I mean,
Like we do the Patreon cast, we do funny, but I like this. I like the ones that make you think and make you question and make you really kind of dive into your brain.
It's like nachos. It's a good time, but it also makes you like it
gassy.
Feel something. Well, yeah, that too. Yeah.
Hey, when you're gassy, you feel something. But hopefully, you enjoyed this podcast. We'll definitely be trying to throw out at least a couple of these a month. I don't know if even at this point I have a title for it, but by the time you listen to this, there will be a title in the playlist.
A spinoff of the spinoff.
But hey, let us know if you've got any questions that could apply to this. Please, what?
Provoke me.
Oh, I seriously thought you said fuck me.
Well,
do that too while you give me the question. But seriously, if you enjoyed this, let us know. We're going to keep it going for sure because we only barely scratched the surface. There were like 500 questions. We might have done like 20. So plenty more out there, and we plan to keep it going. If you've got a question that falls in line with these, please throw it in the comment section. And please feel free to answer some of the questions that we just answered in the comments yourself. I would love to get some of your takes on this.
Do not let your Patreon membership lapse.
Did you renew it?
I did. It said I paid on the 1st this month.
Are you sure?
I'm pulling it up right now.
But hey, in the meantime, check out the Patreon. Thank you so much for taking a listen. And whether you listen on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, we just appreciate you lending us your ears for a little while.
And money.
That helps to pay for this equipment. I'm Justin.
I'm Matty Dubs.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.